My content is intended to be used and must be used for educational purposes only. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research any information you find from my videos that you wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. All right, we got Friday, February 23rd. I still got my gym hair. Had a nice back workout today. We're going to go over PLD, IWM, Tesla, Hershey's, and Wayfair right now. I am long all of them. I actually did just close all of my risk to PLD. After I had been in it for a few weeks, I think 2 now, but that is what we're going for today. This is day 2 of the trading journey. I'm bringing you guys through a transparent view of just straight up all the technicals and what I'm looking at, and basically honestly how I trade and how I view the market. So let's get right into it. We got PLD, IWM, Tesla, Hershey's, and Wayfair. So on PLD, here is my entry. Why did I like PLD? I liked PLD because of the weekly SR flip that we're seeing. So I really liked how price ended up rejecting here like 1, 2, 3 times before eventually falling. And then price did end up recovering through this level, so it did end up breaking resistance on this large weekly candle with high volume buying and a large candle. So that is what we would want to see. Whenever we want to see large candles whenever we see large candles like that, we would want to see an equal effort into the candle. So your effort being the volume and the result being the price action. So the difference between the open and the close. So right here, about 12% on the overall stock. So if we're going to move 12%, we're going to need a lot of volume, a lot of transactions to get us there, and we did have that. So I liked the high volume buying, and then I liked the low volume pullback on the weekly right here, and we can see that down here. So I liked that low volume pullback on the weekly, and then we see buyers stepping in once again, like these 3 candles down here. We see a lot of buying volume once again. So why did I recently close out risk on PLD? On the daily, we saw, so here was my original entry on February 2nd, so exactly 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. So we see, let's go deeper, let's go on to the smaller time frames. We see that price has basically been bouncing around this 130.50. So I like to turn on the line with markers chart to see what is going on. So price has been bouncing around this area, so that is going to be our demand, and then we have been rejecting up in this area, so your 135, which actually does happen to be the last weekly resistance on the volume profile. So we'll take a look at that in a second once I make this supply zone. So that is going to be our supply, and we are currently ping-ponging in between them. So let's go turn on my volume profile. And that is going to be our last big resistance until this actually does end up breaking out. So we turn that right there. Not a coincidence. Not a coincidence that we're rejecting right here. So I was bullish on PLD in the interim. On the short term, I did think it was going to break this. So I did think it was making some kind of ascending channel. So I thought, ascending triangle. And it actually faked me out. It faked me out at the end of the day today because it looked like it was going to hold it. So let's go show you what I'm talking about. Let's turn off the volume profile. So price was in supply. Let's turn off the replay. It looked like an ascending triangle. Let's see the 4 hour. Let's turn on the hourly maybe. It looked like we can draw our ascending channel right through here, kind of where price was continuing to support, and then price had yet to close right above here. So if we turn off our supply for a second to make sure that we can see it, we had yet an hourly close to get above this, except over here when it just absolutely rejected the piss out of it. So it looked like a little bit of an ascending triangle right there, so I was hopeful. Where I became not hopeful was actually today. We ended up closing above it. So here's your hourly close above resistance. So that was a big close above. And then what did we do immediately after? We had a nice little sell-off on high volume on the hourly. So that's not good. Long lower wick, retesting it. So if we saw a retest like that and a continue higher, that would be an excellent confirmation that that level is going to hold and that was an ascending triangle. But we ended up having an hourly, we ended up doing that, and then we ended up having a double top structure in the hourly. So I was like, okay, now what turned out to be, it looked like an ascending triangle, now looks like a rising wedge, and then we ended up seeing that wedge get broken today, right there. So that was that. So I reduced risk on PLD. I actually did sell out of all of my position. I just thought I can always obviously re-enter, but I really struggled with this because I want to leave some risk on because there's always the chance that I'm wrong, and my FOMO would actually drive me insane if this ended up like ripping like 5% or something on Monday, and I was obviously not in it, but I felt comfortable taking the risk off just because we had this nice double top on the 4 hour, and I think it's very likely that if we look at the weekly, and if we look at the weekly volume profile, I think it's very likely that we come back and retest this 130.50 one more time before actually continuing higher. So I think we do something like this and then go. I think that's very likely, and that's what I'm going to be trying to add on more risk, but always a chance that it does end up breaking support. So we do have a nice like little supply volume shelf here. So we did find sellers up here, but yeah, that's PLD. I'm thinking we break this little rising wedge look, retest 130.50, and in here is where I'm going to be wanting to add my risk long once again. So loving PLD long, just bearish in the short term. Let's go to IWM. IWM, we've been in since over here. I'm loving how IWM looks. We've been retesting what we've struggled to get over since freaking August 2022. So we are retesting this level, and then I'm really liking the weekly, and the weekly structure is bullish. So, and then if we look at the daily structure, we saw that massive CPI data dump right here. It actually ended up holding the higher low. So you had your break of bearish structure right here, putting in a higher low, higher high, ended up putting a higher low, continued higher, higher high. So then we create a higher low right here. So a bullish structure on the daily. On the 4 hour, let's go look at our zones. Why did I draw these zones here? I like to look at the market structure. So we found support over here, rejected here, and then found support again. So that's clearly a big zone. We did find support in here, and then what is the 4 hour structure? 4 hour structure was bearish up until this close, where it created a bullish structure because it closed above this recent lower high. We did reject supply today. Nothing crazy. We ended up actually breaking above supply yesterday and then finding support on it today, this morning. So we found what used to be supply up until right here, what used to be supply, so red, so sellers, what used to be supply right there, until we broke above it and found new demand. So that is your SR flip. And that is one of the concepts I do love in trading. So SR flip right there, and then structure is bullish on the hourly. As we keep climbing higher, we keep making higher highs, higher lows. So I do like IWM long. I could see a little bit of short-term selling, maybe back into demand, but I think IWM is getting close to breaking out. So let's look at Tesla. Tesla, a little bit of a premature entry. I think I entered on the break of the neckline of this inverted head and shoulders pattern, and then if we turn on the volume profile, we'll see there's a fairly big volume gap. I don't want my brush anymore. Fairly big volume gap between. I'm still on the brush, am I? No, I'm not. All right. Fairly big volume gap up until about your like 210 to 12 area. So I did like that. And then we are retesting demand where the neckline of the inverted head and shoulders is. So right through here. And if we look closer, we look at the hourly, I think structure is making, or price is making some kind of either triangle or bull flag on the lower time frames. So let's get back my candles. Doing something of this sort, either some kind of bull flag over previous demand, or some kind of like ascending channel or symmetrical triangle. I mean, I don't even know. Like something through here. I mean, it did actually close below, so this could be a flag. Like close below right there. That's interesting. Let's see. Let's look at the 4 hour. I mean, some kind of flag, and then my risk is going to be below demand. So some kind of flag through here, or just some kind of like that over demand, and then like let's say we had something like this, come back to demand again, go higher, and then go up here, and up here in supply would be my profit target. So that is what I'm looking for on Tesla, and I'm looking for demand to hold again. I think 4-hour structure is bearish as it closed below this recent higher low. So need to see some kind of double bottom in demand, and then risk is a close below demand. So that is what I'm looking on Tesla. Let's go to Hershey's. Hershey's, I really liked the daily double bottom that we had, and then why. If we pop on the volume profile, so this is actually demand, so let's make this green. If we turn on the volume profile, it is right at the point of control. So we double bottomed right at the volume profile point of control, which basically is where the most volume has occurred at a certain price level. So in the last, like, what, 500 bars, I think my volume profile is set at. Last 500 bars, maybe it's on the 200, maybe it's the last 200 days, maybe last 200 or 500 days of the last price action. So and I'm on the daily candle, so it changes at different time frames, so you can use it on all different time frames. But I liked the double bottom, and then push off of the volume profile. We did have a little bit of a scare. This 4-hour candle was hilarious. I mean, I woke up and I went to the gym and I saw that Hershey's was way below demand, and I was like, oh great. That was a quick loss, and then it ended up fully recovering and holding above. So that could be what kind of sets it off to break through some of this supply up here. But we had high volume earnings, low volume pullback, and then that 4-hour candle was high volume right there. So that was very good to see for my long position. And then today was kind of a nothing burger. I mean, we rejected supply again, so this is going to be a big level. And then I think up here is going to be my weekly supply. I think that's what I had it as. I think this is going to be weekly supply up here. So like our last big weekly supply is right there. You could even say right here a little less conservatively. So on the 4-hour, yeah, it's going to be like this rejection over here, and then a rejection of this level. So that is going to be my next big supply run if we do end up climbing above this here and then going higher. So that is what I'm looking for on Hershey's. My stop is going to be a daily close below the recent daily bottom, so right here. So a stop below there is going to be my risk, and I do not want to see a daily close. That's important because we've seen clearly how many times we've wicked below it. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for on Hershey's, and then we'll do Wayfair quick. Wayfair, same thing, same concept as the Hershey's entry. Retested the volume profile point of control. The monthly is actually extremely intriguing on Wayfair, in my opinion. If we turn on let's get my entry out of here. I think Wayfair is creating a very tight price action range right through here. If we draw our channel, we'll make that red because that's sellers. And then we'll draw our nice little channel right through here, and then we'll make this green because it's buying. So we are forming a very tight price range as some kind of reversal pattern to eventually continue higher, in my opinion. So I do like the weekly. The most apparent thing is both the SR flip and the buyers that are clearly on the volume. If we look right here, I mean, we see 4 instances of buyers just dominating 4 right there, there, and then low volume pullbacks each time. So I mean, look how much of a joke this pullback was. Look at these 3 candles and how large their spreads were. This candle, look how much volume that had compared to these 3. I mean, this might have more volume combined than these 3 candles. So extremely low volume pullback right back to demand. So that's why I liked taking a shot on Wayfair long. But earnings yesterday, high volume, and then got right over the point of control. So that's why I'm liking Wayfair. But on the 4-hour, our zones are going to be, here's the major supply I'm watching. I'm looking for a break of this, and then probably some kind of retest to maybe either add or just hold on to the position. But that is what I'm watching for Wayfair. That's what I got going on today. Enjoy everyone's Fridays and weekends. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Thank you.